We're called in on a job here in Calaveras County for a small deck repair because we felt there was a area in the deck that was weak and had a small portion of dry rot because of a leaky downspout. As we were investigating the deck, we were pulling material out. We actually found out this 10-year-old deck was unsafe to actually walk on. So as far as the repair goes, we kept tearing more and more material off until we actually tore the entire substructure of the deck and all of the enclosures and the shroudings around the beams apart. We found that every single beam was rotted more than 75%, some at clearly close to 100%. So as the repair went on, we started to go up to the railing up on top, and we found that one of the decorative shrouds in place in the railing was deteriorated. So apparently what was happening, water was getting into these structures like the rock wall and the railing enclosure, and it was able to stay there. There was no ventilation in these walls where air could dry these sections out as they did get wet. This 10-year-old deck looked perfect because it was held together with caulking and paint. As soon as we started dismantling it, the wood would fall apart in our fingers. Here's the post that's holding up the corner of the roof line. This post was holding up a beam, and the beam was actually rotting out and sinking the roof 1.5 inches. Here's the inside cavity of the post. This is the material that was just, water was sitting inside here and just rotting, and the wood was actually falling apart. This is an inside wall structure that was made waterproof, which water was entering. This is what actually caused the deck to be unsafe. This entire corner was rotted out, as you can see here. So we had to dismantle everything and rebuild it. Posts, beams. Here are areas where you can actually see fungus growing in the bottom of the deck where the water was holding. We were able to salvage all of the rock wall by dismantling the framing inside and reframing it and gluing it back to the rock again, which saved the homeowner about $5,500. This assembly looked perfect. It was held up with caulking and paint. As soon as we dismantled it, it would fall apart in our fingers. Our repair was, we ventilated the bottom, we ventilated the top, we fabricated a redwood cap assembly on the top that actually ventilated underneath. So it looks like a solid structure with ventilation in it. And we used all pressure treated wood as well to prevent any moisture from damaging it. We've screened it so bugs can't get in. So we have a very solid bulletproof solution. Here's a baffling section we install, and this whole wall is furred out 3/16 and vented from the bottom up. So this whole wall assembly, now when the heat hits it, can ventilate. The top assembly is actually built waterproof. So we actually want to keep the water out, but if water does enter here, it's going to be no problem. This is a very durable solution. Here's another assembly that we did. We used redwood furring strips to fur it out, incorporating flashings, and it does two things. One, it diverts the water to come out, so we have a positive outward movement for moisture. Secondly, if water does get wet behind it, it can dry out. Here's another assembly where we're putting flashings on to move the water forward away from the structure. Here's where we're replacing the entire beam section across. It was all damaged due to dry rot. So this is fairly common, it looks like, in this community. You know, every house that has a railing like this is potential to have this damage.